Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network, presented by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. Let's get caught up on everything you need to know for Friday, May 2nd. We'll start in Major League Soccer, a busy weekend around the league that's going to start here in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a 2:55 p.m. kickoff for Atlanta United hosting Nashville SC. We know where Atlanta United stands right now. We will have a training ground dispatch later today with audio from this week of training. It's a busy day out at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. The media match will be this afternoon. You can watch that at atlutd.com/live. If you are a glutton for punishment, you'll be able to see Madison Cruz playing in it. You'll be able to see Sophia Cupertino playing in it, Nick Alifi, and yes, Jarrett Smith. All of them will be part of this season's media match, along with many other members of the Atlanta media. 1 o'clock start for that. You can watch it on the Atlanta United YouTube channel or on the website. But before that, the team will be training and speaking to the media. Ronnie Dylo will speak as well today. We'll have clips from all of that in Training Ground Dispatch later this afternoon. Now, on the Nashville side, they scored 7 last time out. Yes, 7. 7-2 win over the Chicago Fire. 4 goals from Sam Surridge, 2 from the penalty spot. He's got 6 now on the season. Hani Mukhtar had 2 goals and an assist. Andy Nahar had 3 assists in the match. Just, I don't know if Nashville ever even dreamed of scoring 7 goals in a match in their previous iteration. Gary Smith was defense first. BJ Callahan is not. It's been a little inconsistent at times for Nashville this season. We will see which Nashville SC shows up. But Atlanta United has to get something going in the attack. They have to get some confidence being built up in this team. And we'll see what everybody has to say this afternoon. Other games that I'm keeping an eye on around the league this weekend: Miami. They're hosting Red Bulls. Miami's on a 2-game home losing streak. Red Bulls have yet to win 2 games, period, this season. They won 1-0 last time out against Montreal. Miami is coming in after crashing out of the Conca champions against Vancouver on Wednesday night. Columbus, they host Charlotte, 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference. Columbus is in second, Charlotte's in third. Columbus has only conceded 8 goals in 10 games, and they've gotten the slack picked up in the attack with Cucho Hernandez's departure. Diego Rossi has 5 goals and an assist this season. Austin hosting Minnesota, both teams coming in after a little bit of question marks last time's out. Eric Ramsey says that he's not going to overthink it with Minnesota after a 3-1 loss to Vancouver, second loss of the season. Austin, they've only picked up 4 points in their last 4 MLS games. They've only scored 7 goals in 10 games in a very expensive attack that was created in the offseason. It has not been firing, but Austin's been pretty good defensively this season. Minnesota has had very little of the ball, but they've been able to get results with it. Interesting matchup between these two teams, both going in the wrong direction on Saturday night. LAFC and Houston, that's one of the best of the late games. Houston, they beat LAFC last time they met this season 1-0. Denny Boanga, he doubled his goal scoring tally for the season. He had 2 last time out in the 2-2 draw against St. Louis. And then Sunday night soccer, it's Sporting Kansas City hosting the LA Galaxy. Kerry Zavagnin 2-2 since taking over Kansas City from Peter Vermes. Dejan Joveljic, he's got 5 goals this season for SKC after leaving the Galaxy. Last year's MLS Cup triumph, it feels like it was forever ago for LA. They're winless through 10. They're in last place in the West, 3 draws, 7 losses. Can they get something going on Sunday night soccer in Kansas City? We will all find out together on Apple TV. Vancouver, they know who they're going to play in the Conca Champions final. It's going to be Cruz Azul, and they're going to host it in Mexico City at the Estadio Olímpico Universitario. Angel Sepulveda's tournament high 7th goal on a penalty. It was after VAR got involved. It was in the 82nd minute. That gave La Máquina a 1-0 win over Tigres to clinch the semifinal series at 2-1 on aggregate. And because they got a win, they get 3 points, and that puts them ahead of Vancouver in the hosting privileges tally. So it will be in Mexico City, and that will be on June 1st. The Europa League, headed for an all Premier League final now. It's not booked yet. Anything can happen, but First leg of the semifinals yesterday, Manchester United lead Athletic Club de Bilbao 3-0. Went on the road and won that one. Tottenham, they lead Bodo Glimt 3-1. It's not guaranteed, but both have comfortable leads. Now, Tottenham Hotspur, sorry. They have to go on the road in that second leg to Norway. Manchester United will come back home. The final will be in Bilbao, so Athletic Club will be going for it, but they have to overcome a 3-0 deficit. Now, this is a really big game for both sides. Maybe it keeps Ange Postecoglou in the job at Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe it keeps Manchester United from laying more people off if they win because of the financials. You're talking about a Europa League final that could be worth at least £100 million to the winner. Manchester United desperately need that. I mean, this is a team that decided that they had to cut staff lunches because they were going to go broke, be out of spending money by Christmas if they didn't do it. I think they probably need to win the Europa League to get into the Champions League and bring in that £100 million plus. We'll see what happens. Bundesliga leaders, Bayern Munich, they can secure a 34th German league crown on Saturday. They have an 8-point advantage with 3 games left. They are at RB Leipzig on Saturday. Napoli, they will travel to Lecce. They have a 3-point lead in Serie A over Inter. And with Inter, they had a great performance on Wednesday in Barcelona. That's going to give them momentum. But the fact is, they played 9 games in April compared to Napoli's 4. They look tired. They're going to be missing Lautaro Martinez this weekend. They have other injury issues. Inter will host Hellas Verona on Saturday. Simone Inzaghi won't be on the bench on Saturday. Neither will Calhoun, because they've both received a 1-match suspension in a settlement with the Italian Soccer Federation over their relations with club ultras. Very complicated situation. This was settled before it went to anything else. Kind of hard to explain in the Morning Espresso, but you're not allowed to have these kinds of meetings with non-club personnel, members of ultra factions, and these two did, and they are being punished for it. Hellas Verona, they're 15th in the standings. They're 7 points ahead of the relegation zone, but they've got games coming up against Lecce and Empoli. They can't take any chances. They really need to get something out of this against Inter. We'll see if they can pull it off. Let's get into the telenovela that is Brazil / Real Madrid / Bayer Leverkusen / Carlo Ancelotti / Xabi Alonso / Jorge Jesus, all of the things. On Thursday, the Brazilian Federation extended its deadline for Carlo Ancelotti to take over. This is what sources have told ESPN. They're willing to wait until Madrid's fate is decided in the La Liga title race. Sources have told ESPN that there is also still a standoff between Carlo Ancelotti and Real Madrid over the manner and timing of his departure from the club. That's got to get resolved. Brazil wants a new coach in place on May 26th. That's when the Brazil squad will be announced for the World Cup qualifiers in June against Ecuador and Paraguay. Madrid's last game of the La Liga season against Real Sociedad will be on either May 24th or 25th. According to ESPN, Ancelotti has a contract until June 26th. He risks a significant reduction in whatever settlement he gets from Madrid if he leaves to take the job for Brazil. If that happens, Real Madrid wants money from the Brazilian Federation in exchange for letting him go. Madrid has also kind of been rumored to fire Ancelotti, so that's another element to this. They typically pay managers a 6-month severance package when they're dismissed, regardless of how long is left on the contract. There's a year on this one. But another source told ESPN that they could make a compromise with Madrid paying Ancelotti a percentage of his remaining salary. Brazil could make up the shortfall instead of Brazil buying the contract, yada, yada, yada. You do have another element to it, and I think this is where the game of chicken gets interesting, because Real Madrid is saying, oh, no, we don't want to let you go, but it seems like they do want him to go, whereas Ancelotti wants to go, but he wants to get all the money that he can get. According to Kicker in Germany, Bayer Leverkusen is already planning ahead. Xabi Alonso is seen as the favorite to take over in Madrid when Ancelotti leaves, although Jurgen Klopp's name has come up. According to Kicker in Germany, Erik ten Hag is the one waiting in the wings to take over at Leverkusen. So you're going to start to get into now, you've brought in another person into the telenovela. It's like the guest star walks into the shot and it's like, oh, it's Eric Ten Hag. Wow. Like that's where this telenovela is. Who else could join the cast? We'll find out very soon because this thing is going to continue rolling. Let's stay in La Liga. Barcelona, they're going to wear a special edition shirt in the Clasico against Real Madrid on May 11th. And now we have seen it. It has been unveiled. It features American rapper Travis Scott. His branding, it's part of his record label, Cactus Jack. That's going to be on the front of the Barcelona jersey, replacing the usual Spotify sponsor logo. This is something that Barcelona has done for Clásicos in La Liga play. There were early rumors that they were going to have Taylor Swift on the front of this shirt, but that fell through. It's Travis Scott with his new heel turn in WWE, aligning with John Cena. I'm surprised they didn't try to work that into it. But Travis Scott's Cactus Jack is on the front of the Barcelona shirt, and they're doing all kinds of different branding elements around it. Really interesting stuff, so keep an eye on all of that. Chicago Fire are the favorites to sign Manchester City star Kevin De Bruyne this summer, according to multiple sources who are telling Paul Tenorio of The Athletic, trying to figure out the right wording for that. Chicago are among three other MLS teams to express an interest in signing De Bruyne. Inter Miami, DC United, NYC are all in the mix. Chicago have moved to the front of the line, and according to Tenorio, they hold the priority to negotiate with De Bruyne. Sources indicate that he would rather come to MLS than going to Saudi Arabia, but he would also be open to remaining in the Premier League or in Europe. So everything is still on the table, but the Chicago Fire are in the lead of this race. The U.S. women's futsal national team ended their first competition in CONCACAF. They fell to third place in the group, lost to Canada 3-1 on the last day of group stage play, and they will not advance to the first ever Women's Futsal World Cup later this year. We'll end with a birthday. It's David Beckham's 50th birthday today. Beckham has had one of the most interesting careers in the game in terms of being a global superstar, as much for and maybe at times eclipsing the on field has been eclipsed by the off field, and it's a shame because Beckham's an amazing player, and his time on the field should never be dismissed. But he's proven to be a fascinating ambassador for the game, especially in the United States, coming to MLS to play for the LA Galaxy, extending his contract. Yeah, there were some rocky moments in his time there, but he won two titles and doing a deal where he got to launch a team at a discounted rate has become one of the most savvy moves in American soccer history. Launching Inter Miami and then being able to parlay that into signing Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba and making Inter Miami a global club. Just a fascinating career and a really interesting person who I think is one of the giants of the game in a very interesting way. There's just not a lot of guys who have this kind of profile in addition to the on-field exploits. So David Beckham, 50 years old today. We'll see if his Inter Miami can give him a birthday present this weekend, because if they lose three in a row at home, I don't care if it is Beckham's birthday. It's not going to be a pleasant one down in Fort Lauderdale, and we'll see how all of that goes this weekend. But again, Atlanta hosting Nashville. 1:30 is the start of your broadcast day on 92.9 The Game and the Audacy app. Madison Cruz, Abe Gordon, if they can make it into the booth after playing in the media match today. Those two will get you started. Myself and Mike Conti will take over. 2:55 kickoff. Atlanta hosting Nashville. A very, very big game at the Benz, and we'll be talking about all of it. Unified match after. If you're going to the game, stick around, support the Atlanta United Unified team as they play Nashville. That'll kick off a little bit after 5 o'clock. And then Atlanta United 2 is on the road at Huntsville. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern time kickoff. We will have that on the SDH Network as well. So a very busy Saturday after a very busy Friday, where we have the media match to call this afternoon, and we have Georgia High School soccer this evening. Calhoun hosting Johnson-Gainesville in a boys match in the Sweet 16. That will be this evening. You can listen at soccerdownhere.net by clicking the listen link. And Monday, if I have a voice left, I'll be back for another edition of the Morning Espresso presented by Oglethorpe University.